Leicester Till I Die podcasts on the Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google, Anchor, and all podcast platforms.
You are watching Leicester Till I Die TV with Chris and Chums. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest. All you need for everything Leicester City FC. It's Leicester Till I Die TV.
Strap yourself in,
because we're set up, switched on, and ready to go.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here. Now be sure to watch Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV by subscribing on YouTube and following them on social media for all the latest Leicester City news and information. Come on you foxes!
Good evening, fellow Fox fans. It's 45-ish, 43 minutes to go to kick off. The team has been announced. This is the pre-match show, Everton versus Leicester City.
You are watching Leicester Till I Die TV.
and it's live.
We certainly are. And if you're watching us live, don't forget you can see all down that side there, all our social media sites. You can get us live now on YouTube, on Leicester Till I Die TV, Facebook, Leicester Till I Die, the group, and Twitter and Periscope at Leicester TID. Please remember to sign in if you can, and let us know your comments. What do you think of the team? We're going to be looking at it in a minute. Let us know what you think the score will be. They beat us 2-0 last time out. Bit of revenge is needed, I do believe. But I'm going to be joined now by my chat chum colleague, and some say he likes big fat gypsy weddings. Some say he wants to sell you lucky clover. Some people say he lives in a caravan. All we know is he's called the Josh. Sorry, mate, I clicked on the wrong screen there.
Very good, I must say. Good banter there, pal.
Well, it's been commented a few times. I thought I've got to do it. I've got to do it. How the devil are you, sir?
All right, Chris. How are you, mate?
I'm feeling good. A little bit worried about tonight. But I am about every game, let's be honest with you. Say good evening to Matthew Bond. He's in Rosslare and in Ireland. How the devil are you, sir? I presume you've gone over from Stranraer. If my travel agent days are still in my mind, it goes over from Stranraer to Rosslare or vice versa. I could be talking shit. Who knows? Lee, I think Lee may have liked that last little segment.
Yeah, I think he will do. I'll have to give you that one. That was I weren't expecting that. Was really good.
Lee, message me privately. I'll send it you. But team's been announced. I think we kind of knew there was going to be changes back again. Obviously, we owe them. They did the win over us last time back in December with Charlison and Holgate. Either half beating us 2-0. Time for revenge, isn't it?
Yeah, what I remember from that game is really we just couldn't break them down. They sat back, played the low block really well, and we just couldn't find a way through. So hopefully, with them being at home this time, there might be a bit more attacking, and hopefully we'll find a way through that time. Fingers crossed. Anyway,
They've got to go for it, haven't they? Being at home, and although I said that, are we playing better away now? We know we've won the last couple at home, haven't we?
exactly. Yeah, it's obviously it's always nice to get some consistency. And like you say, results have picked up at home. So hopefully we'll carry on with the away form that we have as well. So hopefully it'll put us in a good position.
Well, let's have a look at the team. And I must admit, if you put Vardy in, and obviously I know we can't, this is pretty much his starting 11 for every game, isn't it? I mean, we've got obviously Casper's back in goal. I think that's always going to be on. And then we're seeing Fofana and Evans back. Maybe a little bit surprised to see Soyuncu drop to the subs bench, because I thought he had a good game. And I thought Fofana might need a rest. But Castagna and Justin, at the moment, you can't fault that back four, can you?
No, not at all. And I think the good thing is about having Ricardo back as well is when he got brought on against, who was it? Not Newcastle, Southampton, when he came on as sub, it looked like he was playing right mid. So maybe Brendan's thinking in his mind, well, Ricardo could potentially go on the right wing if needs be. So, like you say, the way Castagna and Justin have been playing this season, they've just been standout players for us. So you can understand why both of them are starting, definitely.
I must admit, what I like about Brendan is he pretty much, not saying he listens to me by any stretch of the imagination, but he seems to agree with me, because I don't like dropping players that have been playing well just because somebody's come back that would normally fill that position.
Yeah.
Even Jamie Vardy up front, as long as the player that is keeping them out is performing, and Castagna and Albrighton has been a revelation this season.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, we're lucky to have players that have come in and they are playing as well as they have, and it's full credit to them because, as you say, with Brendan, he don't really drop players that are in form, which is great to see. As much as you've got big names on the bench, and other teams will probably look at it and think, well, how come Soyuncu ain't starting? How come Ricardo ain't starting? Well, we know full well it's fully because the players that have come in and slotted in for them have more than done a job for us. They've been absolutely fantastic. So it's good to see. It's good to see us have that sort of manager that don't fold under the pressure of, like you say, big names as such.
Yeah, and we've got Ndidi back again. I think that was a cast-on decision. I mean, if he's fit, again, love Mendy for everything he's done, but I think Mendy, and he's going to get the games coming up when we've got 3 competitions in February when the Europa League comes back. Oh, I think Josh has frozen. Then I think he's been knocked out by Tyson Fury. So we'll see what you get. Are you back? Is it? Oh, I saw him move. Then
Yeah. I don't know what happened. Then it just went a bit distorted and broke up.
You were doing your Tyson Fury pose then for OK Magazine. But like I say, we always kind of, like I say, as much as I love in Mendy, and I want him to be signed up because I think he's perfect in that role when Ndidi's not fit. But he's going to get the chance coming February when the Europa League comes back.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, we'll have a lot of games to play in February. Like I say, with Europa League, a lot of Premier League games still, and obviously still being in the FA Cup. So players are still going to get the chance, and we're fortunate really that the players that are coming back, they've come back at the perfect time. Really, with the amount, like I say, the amount of football that's still going to be played. So it couldn't come at a better time for us, really.
It's almost like complete opposite to last season, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, as we all know as Leicester fans, the injuries and that we had, especially towards that February, March time, just before lockdown, weren't it? It just completely it went. Excuse me for it. It went to shit, really, didn't it? It really was, and we really struggled. Which is like, I mean, you've said before, Chris, at the start of this season, I think we all sort of feared the worst. I thought, well, if we could sort of be top half of the table with the players that we've got out, if we could just sort of be there or thereabouts, top 10, still in Europa. I think the position we're in at the minute and the way we're playing is far beyond what anybody expected. With, like you said, with players we had out injured. So definitely, it's been good.
That midfield again, it pretty much picks itself, or Brighton, Barnes, and then Tielemans and Maddison in those two central roles. Like I say, up until that point, this team picks itself. You could have almost guessed that's what he was going to do.
Yeah, definitely. And as you say, it's not one of them where you literally cannot drop anybody unless they're injured or unless they need a rest, which is fair enough. That goes without saying. The players are playing that well that they're justifying being in the starting 11. And like we both said, all Brighton continuously starting. If you just said to somebody that ain't watched football in ages since probably won the title, well, yeah, all Brighton's still starting for Leicester. I think you're bloody mad. But he always does a job for us, always gives 110%, and rightly so. He's going to go down as one of the players that will be a legend for us, considering we bought him for nothing, and for the work he puts in and the way he plays, he's absolutely fantastic.
His previous club, Villa, are throwing it away. Thanks for just keeping us updated. They were 1-0 up, Villa, and they're now 3-2 down to Burnley.
Blimey. I seen it at 1-1, but no, I didn't know 3-2 down now.
Yeah. The striking role surprises me. I you know my thoughts in Iheanacho, and when he pulls the blue shirt on, when he walks across that white line, he gets my 110% support. But he'll also get my criticism after the match if he's not performing. He hasn't had the chance because he hasn't had the minutes in the most recent game. So, I'm fair to him there that I say, if you're not on the pitch for long, you can't do much. Brentford, I thought he was odds on to start, and he went for Perez. And I think Perez does give us a lot more, because I think he frees up Barnes and Maddison, to come in by taking the players away.
Yeah.
Iheanacho not started again today. Are we seeing the end of Iheanacho?
Maybe. I was surprised he weren't started tonight. I think having seen, obviously, Perez starting up front at the weekend against Brentford, I thought it was odds on that Nacho were going to start up front, but obviously not. Again, with Iosi, I thought he did all right on Saturday. He had a few good chances. He linked up play pretty well, and you know what you're going to get from him, especially seeing him more centrally than out on the wing. So I'm pleased he's starting, because, as you know, I'm a big fan of his. But yeah, with Iheanacho, I think it's one of them where he hit a good purple patch season for his last season. He scored a few vital goals for us, really, when you think about it, especially the one against who were playing tonight, Everton, in the last minute. I think, I would like to say, I don't hope it's the end for him. I still think he's a good player to have in the squad, but I think with Perez starting tonight, I think it's a bit of a show of intent that maybe he's out of Brendan's plans, really, so to speak.
Yeah. And Andy saying here, Nacho hasn't done nothing to warrant a starting place. He hasn't, but then he hasn't been given the chance. Like I say, he's not. I keep saying this. I loved him when we signed him, and I thought him and Vardy were going to be brilliant up front together with the speed. They can't play together, or they've not been. When they have done, and it's not been that often, that it's not come off. But Perez reminds me a little bit. I think I said the other day, I don't know if it was himself, of Peter Beardsley when he used to play with Gary Lineker for England. Beardsley was a striker, but he got very few goals compared to Gary Lineker, because he was always that one that played just off. And that is kind of how I see Perez a little bit.
Yeah, he always he always seems to drop deep. He wants the ball deep as well. And as we said, especially we've seen it against Stoke in the first FA Cup game. He will drop deep, and it allows Barnes and Albright to get him behind, because it draws the defence in. Basically, they're keeping their eye on him, and then before you know it, Barnes is away. So it works well for us, to be honest. I think he's. I definitely prefer him more centrally. I think he can play up top, or I think his best position is probably as a number 10. But it's another chance for him to show tonight that he can. That he wants to play football. For the money we paid for him, you'd expect him to be pretty much starting every game, really. And I like him as a player. I know he frustrates a lot of our fans, Brad especially, but hopefully he'll shut a few people up tonight. Fingers crossed.
I mean, he had against Brentford, he had 3 shots on target. Now, in fairness to him, that's better than Jamie Vardy's been having of recent. All you can do for a striker is get them to shoot and get the shots when we do have the shots, get them on target. If you're doing that, at some point, one is going to go in.
Yeah, exactly.
And he is doing that, and I think we've seen here with the 2 games with Perez starting both. Perez is certainly higher up the pecking order than Inacho. I wouldn't be surprised to see him as part of a deal, maybe for another striker from Celtic.
What, Inacho?
Yes.
Yeah, it seems this Edouard sort of keeps cropping up here and there. Like I've said to you before, mate, we're in an unfortunate position, really. Where we only really play one striker up front. If Vardy's fit, it's Vardy all day long, and rightly so for what he's done for us. You've sort of got to find a sort of player. I personally think Vardy's got a couple of seasons left in him, really. But you got to sign a player who's come in and willing to play back up. Whether Edouard would come in and he's happy to wait for his chance and sit out on the sidelines and learn off Vardy. Who knows? Anything could happen, really. But I think signing him for the money that it cost, I think he'd be coming in expecting to start more games than be benched for. But on the old Vardy thing being out, just quickly, I was speaking to somebody at work today, and they said, Vardy's out. But I looked at it when I got back home, and I know in the last 7 games, he's not played 2 anyway for the FA Cup games, obviously. But in 5 he's played, he's not scored any. He's not scored since Tottenham. Mm-hmm. In that time, we've scored 16 goals. So it's not like we're a one-man team at all. Whereas before, we were literally like route one, hit them on the counter-attack. I'd say probably since we had tricky few games. I'd say about 8 or 9 games into the season where we lost to West Ham, Villa, or whatever. It's not good as much as what people believe, anyway.
I think we've been quite lucky in the fact that when we lost Vardy in the Championship winning year, we had Mahrez. He could get a couple of good goals when required.
He was all right, weren't he? He wasn't too bad.
Wasn't too bad at all. Wasn't too bad a player. I mean, let's face it. We all know the Swansea story where Vardy got sent off, missed the Swansea game. We went out and won 4-0, and we had Ujoa who could come in, and there was always a goal in him. I think we've been very lucky in that Vardy's injured now. He hasn't been playing well. Barnes has been able to hit the target, which he wasn't doing last season. Maddison's form's come good again, and we've got those 2 players. So, like I say, if Perez doesn't score tonight, if he's just doing his job of taking defenders with him and allowing those 2 coming through, like you say, obviously we'll miss Vardy, but Vardy's the sort of player. And going back to Lineker, you've got to keep him on the pitch, and because he only needs 1 chance. He can do nothing. He can do nothing for 86 minutes, and then he can score you a goal. Whether he's got a couple of seasons in him, yes, he's definitely got 1 more season in him. And I think it depends how well we do as to how many games we've got coming up. Obviously, as he gets longer, his injuries will take longer to heal. That's the problem. But also, just going back to what you said there, Josh, and I agree with you about Eduardo. Would he want to be coming to be second string? But we've got Europa League, FA Cup, and Premier League we're playing for this season. Mm-hmm. If all goes well, next season we've got FA Cup, League Cup, or Caribou Cup, whatever it will be called next year, Premier League, and hopefully Champions League football, or if not, Europa League again. So we're going to have 4 competitions. Vardy isn't going to be able to start all 4.
Of course, yeah.
So, although you come in maybe as that second striker to Vardy, I still think you're still going to have a lot of opportunity to have a lot of games. Plus, I think Vardy, like I say, he's getting to that age where the injuries will take a little bit longer to heal. Going back to Albrighton, he deserves to come back in, but feel a bit sorry for Under.
Yeah, under on Sunday, I thought he were absolutely tremendous. He really was, and as I said to you before in the pre-match show before the Brentford game, he's always looking to get the ball forward. He's always looking to take a man on. He'll just run and run. I think he's sounds daft. I think he's a lot quicker than what I initially thought in his first few games he was for us. I think within the first 2 or 3 minutes he had a few good runs into the Brentford penalty area, which his pace just literally took him away from their defender. So it's unfair on him, but as you say, Albright's been playing that well. You can't really drop him, really. But against Everton, if they God forbid they go 1-0 up or anything like that, Under's a good person to bring on because he's shown how electric he can be running at players. So it can only be good for us.
And I think players, when they sign for any Premier League team now, whether that's Man United, Liverpool, Leicester, West Brom, Fulham, whatever, I think they realise that it is about a squad, not just about 11 on the pitch these days. And I think, it is a totally different game to how it was, 10 years ago.
Yeah, I think more so it's about positions as well. I think if you're a defender and you're playing really well, really with defenders, it sort of picks itself. If you're an attacking player, you have got to have the mindset of, well, unless I'm really, really performing to like possibly world-class standards, there's no way really that I'm going to be keeping my place because there's always somebody to come in and take your position. So it's like I say, it must be a bit bittersweet for Brendan because he's got that many players playing well for him. It must be hard to, like I say, to have dropped, for example, Mendy when he played so well for us. But when you've got Wilfred Ndidi, and as I say, for me, he's absolutely world class. There's no way you can keep him out, unfortunately.
It's a great position, and I've said this many times. When we have this particular conversation, I can't believe we're talking about Leicester.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it didn't seem long ago. I remember I was talking to somebody a few weeks back now when we had Craig Levine in charge, and we had players like Elvis Hammond, Peter Canero, Momo Silla, Mark De Vries, Stephen Hughes. You think like at the time you were like, oh yeah, these will do a job. But looking back now, you think, bloody hell, like the position we're in now. Well, sometimes when we lose games, I think back to them times and I think, God, it ain't so bad as what I thought anymore. You know what I mean? So.
I seem to remember that Stephen Hughes, I thought, was quite a good signing and quite a good player.
He wasn't a bad player. Yeah,
but when I look back, Mark De Vries, my God, he made Akin Badby look good, didn't he? But right, it's that time. If anybody's still watching us. Get your score predictions in. This is what the guys have gone for. A couple of 2-1s there off Steve Walsh. Bless him. He always goes for the Leicester win. And Big Marshy's gone for 2-1 against his ex-club. In fact, when he sent it through, I actually typed it in as 2-1 Everton because that sort of thing he'd normally do. And I had to double check, and it was 2-1 Leicester. But myself and Steve Lynick think it's going to be a slightly harder game there. And we've gone for 1 apiece. What are you going to stick your neck on the line and go for, Josh?
Tricky game, mate. Tricky game. I'm going to go 3-1 to us.
3, wow. Yes.
Yeah. As I say, I think it's going to be tricky, but I think if we score an early goal, they're going to have to come out a lot more at us, and I think we can pick them off. But I'm going to look right, Pratt, if obviously we're going to get beat now. But you've got our backers, in here, I guess.
I can never predict Leicester to lose. If I think it's going to be a tough game. I mean, if we got Barcelona in the next round of the Europa Cup or whatever, and obviously we know we're not going to, I'd still go for a 1-1. I would never back us to lose. I can't,
Yeah.
Somebody's saying good evening, Ned. I am well. I have no idea who you are, but I can't see on there. You just come up as Facebook user, but thank you for your greetings. Lee Lockwood's gone 2-1 Leicester. I suppose, let's face it, if we do go one behind, send Tyson Fury on and we'll be all right, mate.
Yeah, that's it, exactly. I wish I had his money.
Hey, don't we all? Josh, thanks very much for joining us, mate.
No worries, mate. I'm not going to say we're going to score from a corner. I'm going to try and use reverse psychology this week. I'm going to say we are definitely not going to score from a corner today. So hopefully it's a bit of reverse psychology for the lads.
I quoted you in the opposition view with the Everton fan last night, I think it was, and I said that because we were talking about set pieces, and that unfortunately they're very good at set pieces. And I did say that every game you say we're going to score from a corner, and I said it's almost like putting a jinx on it because we never have. So reverse psychology, we're not going to score from a corner today.
That's it. I'm going to try a different tactic. Hopefully it'll work. Fingers crossed.
We'll see, mate. Thanks very much. Feel free to come on the after show after the match if you're free. If not,
mate, definitely I will do.
Yeah, if not, see you Sunday before the Leeds game.
Cheers, Chris. Enjoy the game, mate.
And you, mate. All the best. Take care. Stay safe. Cheers. So that's goodbye to Tyson Fury. Good night from him. Good night from me. Hey, we're going to go and watch the game. Kicks off. It's 8:15. So it's about 19 minutes away. And it's on BT Sport if you have that platform. If not, I'm sure you'll be able to find it in one place or another. We'll be back about 40 minutes after the final whistle when we'll be doing the post-match show with Josh, if he joins us, but definitely with Brad. He will be there about 40 minutes afterwards. Give us a chance to update the website, give us a chance to celebrate, commiserate, calm down, get happy, whatever. Or just get pissed, let's be honest with you. Whatever you want. Hey, enjoy the match. Here's to 3 points for the Foxes. I'll see you 40 minutes after kickoff. Stay safe, guys.
Leicester Till I Die podcasts on the Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google, Anchor, and all podcast platforms.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye and see you next time.